So with a little help from our resident kitty, today we are going to be making a Halloween gusset pillow perfect for the season. Welcome, I do sewing and DIY related content, and today we are going to be making a Halloween pillow. So I have this pillow that my husband got from Amazon, so this is a very thick, like foam type pillow, and we are going to be using it to make a Halloween pillow, specifically a gusset pillow. So two of these fabrics, the orange and purple, are actually vintage pieces, and the black is one that I got from Joann Fabrics last year. So the first step in doing this is you want to measure your pillow for how long, wide, and then if you are making that gusset pillow, for how tall you want it to be. As you will see, stuffing helped almost the entire time with this pillow, so really thanks to her that we got this done. For my pillow, once I had the length and width, I then cut out a piece for the front, which I did in this orange Frankenstein fabric, and then I'm going to be cutting out a piece for the back as well. Stuffing really thought that this was such an interesting part of the project that she wanted to oversee, and then of course she would not move, so we had to play with the tape measure a little bit. But once we did get her off that, she then moved to the purple fabric. Either way, once everything was done, I was able to get both the front and the back cut out to those measurements, whatever measurements for the length and width your pillow is. Now for the gusset portion of this pillow, you are going to want to measure all the way around your pillow. So if you just take one of those pieces of fabric that you cut out for the front and back, measure all the way around it, and that is going to be how much fabric you are going to need for each of the gusset portions. What I ended up doing is cutting a piece out for the length, the width, and then repeating it for the second length and width, so that there was 4 pieces of fabric for the gusset in particular. And then I did this at a sort of like a width of 6 inches. So we are going to have 4 pieces of material, 1 for each length of our rectangle. And then I also did cut out some of this Ollie Fun fabric, and that's just going to make it be a little bit more of a stabilizer. I did not have enough interfacing, but what we are going to start doing now is sewing these 4 pieces together, as they are going to be going around the pillow itself. So specifically doing one of those short edges with one of the long edges with right sides together, pinning that up, and then repeating that for the second set as well. And then this will give us our good start that we'll be able to begin building out our gusset. So once you have all that pinned up, you're just going to go to your sewing machine and take a straight stitch. So again, if you would use interfacing, you wouldn't have had that blue piece. I just did not have any interfacing on hand, and that also is a completely optional step. So now that I have the 2 pieces sewn up, I'm now going to combine them all together and sew along one of the edges, so matching up one short with one long edge again, and just taking a seam. And then once you have that one seam done, you'll just be matching up those 2 other edges that are not matched with anything right now, and then you will sew those up as well to do another seam. And this is basically just going to give you a perimeter, as you can see here with my pillow. I just now have something that I'm able to put my pillow into, and then I'm going to be matching either the front or the back. You can see I'm using the orange, so with right sides together, matching that orange fabric to the skeleton gusset pillow. So as you can see, I'm just going around, pinning this up with right sides together, and then I'm just going to be taking a seam all the way around. Now when you take your seam, especially when you get to the corners, you are going to want to be a little bit careful, just making sure that your fabric isn't really bunching up underneath. So as you can see, I'm going through readjusting my fabric if I need to at any point. And then when I get to the corner, I'm going all the way down to the corner. I'm getting as close as I can to that corner. I'm lifting my presser foot, and then I'm readjusting the fabric underneath. And then I'm just restarting on that next edge to finish off the seam. So this was the way that I did all 4 corners, and when I'll show you the finished product, you'll see that each corner turned out really well. So it really isn't too difficult to do just one continuous seam all the way around. Now one thing I did do is for any of the edges, or for raw edges for the material, I just used my pinking shears to trim this up so that I gave it a really nice and neat look. In case we ever decided to wash this pillowcase, I wouldn't have to worry about the fabric kind of fraying or coming undone. This is a completely optional step though, and it's really just more of a personal preference. So now it is time to add the back, or just the second piece of our pillowcase on. I am adding in an invisible zipper though. So for my pillow, I got an invisible zipper that was the length of just one of those sides. So I believe that my pillow was around 12 inches, so I got a 12 to 14 inch invisible zipper. And then I went through the process of ironing the zipper out, and now I'm just going to be pinning the zipper with right sides together to the right side of the gusset, and then I'm just going to be sewing this in place. Now if you are unfamiliar with how to sew in an invisible zipper, I have a whole video and tutorial on how to do it, so I'll be sure to link that. But the one thing you really want to make sure of when you use an invisible zipper is that you are using an invisible zipper foot. So I changed the needle position to make sure it worked with my zipper foot, and then I'm just going to be sewing in this invisible zipper just like I would any other time. So staying very close to those zipper teeth but not sewing through them, and then just taking that seam all the way through. You could definitely have basted this also and then sewn it in, so as you can see I just test out to make sure my zipper still works, which it does. So now I can continue on adding that second piece of material onto the second side of the zipper. So matching this with right sides together, just taking my fabric and matching it with the edge of the zipper. You do want to make sure that your zipper is unzipped when you do this, and then this is going to allow us to just insert and attach that second side of the fabric to our whole pillowcase. And then again, I'm just using my invisible zipper foot and just sewing through. So I'm just going to do a quick test to make sure that the zipper is working, and it does. So now that I know it's on there, I can just finish off with one last seam, and that is attaching the rest of this purple material to the gusset itself. So I've gone through, pinned this all up. One thing I will note is be sure your zipper is open, as that's how we're going to be turning this right side out. So now I'm just going to go through using my regular presser foot. I've changed it back, and I'm just going to sew those last three sides on, very similar to how I did the orange earlier. And then once I have that done, I'm just going to take my pinking shears and trim up any of it. Again, this is an optional step, but I like to make sure that if I do need to wash this, I don't have to worry about it coming fraying or undone. Then I'm just going to turn my pillowcase right side out, and once it's turned right side out, it's then time for the pillow. I will say that because of how this pillow was formed, it took a little bit to get it in there, but it actually fits really nicely and I love how it looks. So here is my completed pillow. It is so fun and so spooky. It's such a mix of fabrics, but I do love how it turned out. So this is now another Halloween pillowcase ready for the holiday. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you want to see next. Thanks for watching.